broken into chapters. The first chapter is what is the raw food diet according to proponents of the craze? So what do they believe it is? So the raw food diet is a plant-based diet, meaning they don't eat meats or flesh. They try and get all of their foods from plant origin. It's only unprocessed, fresh and alive foods. So they're trying to not just get plant, but as close as it can to just coming off the tree. The more processing, the less that it's part of the ideal raw food diet. No cooking or heating of the foods. They have a specific temperature point of 45 degrees. And we'll go into more detail of why that point is so important in amongst a raw food diet. It's predominantly fresh fruits and vegetables. So they mainly eat fresh fruits and vegetables. They try to limit grains and a lot of the things that most human beings live off, they try to stick it towards fresh fruits and vegetables. Moderate amounts of sprouts, seeds, nuts, grains, beans, dried fruit and seaweeds. So they're still predominantly trying to eat the fresh fruits and vegetables, and they use these as added extras for the micronutrition within that. Simply put, it's uncooked whole foods of plant-based origin. The extreme raw food fundamentalist will say that we all have to eat 100% raw. And we'll usually find that these people have received incredible benefit from the raw food diet because they've switched and it's been really balancing to either their constitution, the climate that they were in, or the dietary practices that they've done before. But if they continued this for a long time, too much of a good thing is never good. It will eventually start to create balance as well. Now, some body types could continue for a very long time and it could be very suited to them. But we'll start to look at the details of that as we get into the Ayurveda section. So there's three main reasons why they don't cook or heat foods in the raw food diet. So the first one is to preserve nutrients. So cooking reduces the nutritional value and the life force of food. So when we talk about life force, we'll get into more detail on what that means from an Ayurvedic perspective and also from modern science. And as a naturopath, we'll see that this life force is something that's measurable inside the food. But now we'll stick with the nutrition, something that's more specific and easily to measure. So raw carrots have got more than 4 times the vitamin C of cooked carrots. So we get a big drop in a really amazing nutrient there. The next one is raw almonds. We've got 430% more vitamin E than dry roasted almonds. Roasting cacao beans kills 70% of the antioxidants. So with this we see big drops in huge antioxidant nutrients. These nutrients provide incredible cell protection for the body. So they're really important to prevent cancer and a lot of other things. Now, for the sake of balanced truth, something to keep in mind here is that these figures were all done with high temperature cooking without the use of water. These are not some of the more balanced, holistic methods of cooking that we can use. So in order to keep that in perspective, high temperature without the use of water is going to be the most damaging towards the nutrients inside. So the second part on why they don't cook foods is to decrease the toxins that are present inside the food. So cooking can create a lot of toxins with the food. So specifically, it creates rancid hydrogenated fats. So the heat of cooking really affects fats more than anything. So that's the most specific thing to be aware of. If it's a fat-dominant food, a lot of cooking to that may start to damage it. Specifically, it's the essential fatty acids, namely omega-3 and 6, that are damaged the easiest. To make it easier to remember what omega-3 and 6 means, I use a little rhyme. Omega-3s are from the seas, meaning they're generally from fish sources. Omega-6 are from sticks, meaning they're generally from plant-based sources. It's not always like that, but it's most of the time, almost 90% of the time. So these fats can get damaged by heat really quickly. Omega-3s can get damaged just sitting at room temperature. They don't even need to be cooked. So really powerful. As time goes on, just by sitting at room temperature, they start to become rancid and toxic to the body. So these fats that were highly beneficial for us, incredible for the nervous system, great for brain growth, all super important things, they start to become toxic once we cook them. Now, it's pretty much because of these fats that we have the brain sizes that we have today and the species that we are. We'll go into more details of that. They're incredible brain nutrients. We need to get them as close to raw or good temperature cooking in order to get the benefit from them. The next one is polyamines, another toxin that's created by heat of cooking. So polyamines, their simple name is dead flesh proteins. And what this means is that as we start to heat or cook something, it creates this polyamine dead flesh protein inside it. And these can be so toxic to the body, and especially the high temperature cooking things, scorching, frying, barbecue, satay, any of those like brown crispy bits, even if it's toast or something, the burnt brown crispy bits on your toast, that's all polyamine rich foods there. Now, they're so potent at causing cancer that they've done studies where they're trying to remove cancer from mice. So they're like, oh, how can we do cancer research? Do you know how they make the cancer in the mice in the first place? They inject them with polyamines. That's how they cause the cancer to grow inside the mice. So these foods are incredibly powerful at causing cancer. So good temperature cooking is really important. The third one is enzymes. Enzymes are like keys that fit into molecules. And when they fit into these molecules, they cause them to break apart. So they cause molecules to break into smaller pieces. Now, our digestive system is abundant with these enzymes because we need to break a lot of foods into smaller pieces. Now, these enzymes are not just used in the digestive process, but they're also used right throughout our body. So a lot of people think them as just digestive enzymes, but all of the little transformations that are happening in your body, anywhere where you have to break something into smaller pieces, these enzymes are fitting into those locks, twisting them to make them break apart into smaller pieces. Now, many foods are rich in these enzymes, particularly fruits and vegetables, and raw foodies believe these enzymes assist in the digestive process of the foods which contain them, meaning the more enzymes that are still present in the food, the easier it may be to digest them. If we start to look at how these enzymes die, it's through heating. As soon as we go above 45 degrees Celsius, they start to die off. Above 65 degrees Celsius and all the enzymes die. So this is another reason why they really don't want to heat the food so much. We're going to go into more detail on the real science behind these enzymes as we move into the naturopathic and Ayurvedic perspective, and we'll see that it's only quite a small part on the digestive process.